How's it flying, guys? This is Lance Corporal Hawk 30. Another reaction, another day. Yes. So I'm going to be doing another pony-related thing. I'm sure there's some people that would be annoyed by it, but this is my channel. I'm going to do what I want. But if you've got any suggestions for other videos to react to, please let me know in the comments section. So this is every episode of My Little Pony reviewed in 10 words or less by Josh... What was his name? Josh Scorcher, who, from what I remember, used to be in the military. So thank him for his service and thank him for this video, which I will watch. And I'm thinking this is going to be funny. I'm thinking this is going to be a comedic type video, but won't know until I see it. So let's go ahead and watch. And he just put out another one today called Every Episode of MLP Reviewed in 10 Words or Less. But that one's for seasons 2 and 3. This one's just dealing with season 1. So we're going to watch season 1 now. We'll watch seasons 2 and 3 tomorrow. And we'll see how it goes.
Hi, this is the Fiery Joker. Remember when I promised back in my Candlelight Wedding review way back in the day that I would review all of the MLP episodes?
And I'm going to be reviewing every single episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Well, guess what? I'm following up on that promise. Sorta. Reviews in my normal style take a long time to write, produce, and edit, so I would never have the time to do all of them. I usually only do the controversial episodes or season premieres or finales because they always have something worth talking about. But I still want to follow through with my promise, so I do. Well, because I don't have an original idea in my head, I decided to use Joe Apocalypse's format for reviewing all of them. I will go through each season, starting with season 1, and review all episodes on a scale of 1 to 10. All scores are whole numbers, and...
That sounds like a good idea. When there's a lot of stuff to review, and you've got to do it in an expedient way, and that ensures that you can get through all of it and still put up content, it makes sense to cut it up into segments like he has. So this is a format that makes sense from my perspective, and that way there's more content to enjoy in a way. So yeah, but let's okay, this looks like a good setup. Scale of 1 to 10. So let's continue.
Sometimes there will be negative scores to indicate ironic enjoyment, because sometimes bad is better than boring. Also, keep in mind that the scores here might be different than the scores I previously awarded in my normal reviews, because like all things, opinions change and evolve over time. Let's get started. Awkward antisocial nerd saves the world? That's why bronies exist. The sixth element is heart. You can't unsee it now. Safe, but understandably safe. This episode should have aired way later. Lame. Apparently, showing off is only okay when Rainbow does it. An adventure plot outside a season premiere or finale? Sweet. Making a slumber party plot interesting? At least you tried. Episode not racist, I think, but annoying is Pony Pink.
Okay, that was a good rhyme. Good rhyme. Yeah, not trusting a zebra. That's not racist at all. Hey, she's black and white. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Fluttershy wrecks entire town with 0 consequences. Fanboy silent. Using magic for the nest doesn't count. Diagnosis? Puberty. Will you two just kiss already? Great character episode for Rarity with a catchy song. A million ways to phrase the message, and you picked that. Iconic episode for very good reasons.
Agreed. I saw this episode fairly early on after I started watching the show myself, and yeah, I have heard that this episode is the reason why a lot of the fandom came into fruition, why a lot of the people who became fans started watching more of the show, and yeah, that is a very, very good episode. Very well done.
Sweetie's gospel number distracts from Twilight almost dying.
Why did you not? Oh, he forgot to change it to the Stairmaster. Yeah, that was a pretty cool. It was pretty cool. This introducing the stair that Fluttershy can do. That was an interesting concept that she could do that. It would just make, but it makes more sense. It makes sense and it doesn't make sense at the same time. It makes sense for her to use it when she does. And it also makes sense that when she doesn't do it, because she does not want to have to constantly be using that unless she feels like she has to, like with the cockatrice, or when someone is really getting out of line. But there have been times when she should have used that before, where it didn't make sense why she didn't. Like, she could have used that on on some of the changelings, I feel. Or, well, she did try to use it against Discord. It didn't work on him, but it still stands. It'll work on most, though. So, but again, it was still a good episode.
First in a long line of bad cringe comedy. Listen to the winding scene without visuals. You're welcome. Yeah, Fluttershy does look good in green. The fact that this wasn't awful is an amazing achievement. Phoenix is a great lore dump with a clever framing device.
Yeah, that was a good history. That was a good backstory episode.
Twilight never had children.
Wow, that's harsh. It's I think it's sad when fanfiction writers are better at making some characters than the actual show does sometimes. It's weird that way. Like, she does an excellent job with the Pinstrokes past sins stuff, where she places a good mother to an adoptive reformed Nightmare Moon child. But yeah, realistically though, in the show, it's maybe not the best. But then again, you never know. When a kid falls in your lap and you start taking care of them on your own, yeah, that I would imagine that would awaken some parental instinct in you to do better. Party of One, this is a kid show, right? Yeah, Party of One got really creepy.
This is a kid show, right?
Yes.
Where is Luna?
Where was she during that whole thing? Oh, seriously, where was she? She probably didn't want to have to deal with all the she didn't want to deal with the nose in the air, noble ponies. Oh, you are lower than me. I am thine princess. You are new and young. Makes sense.
And that's it for Season 1. Tell me in the comments if you want to see this for Season 2. I'll create a spreadsheet of my tastes because, again, I'm unoriginal. Also, here's the part of the video where I tell you my top and bottom 5. I'll be alternating between them. 5 best, 5 worst, 4 best, 4 worst. You get the idea. Number 5 best,
okay.
Dragonshy. Dragonshy is the first in a long line of episodes to try and make Fluttershy develop beyond the Shy Moe character. And for being the first one, it's surprisingly really good. Well, the best one goes to Hurricane Fluttershy, but this is great too. There's an actual adventure. Each of the characters gets something cool to do, and everyone gets a few good jokes. If you ever want to get a person to watch the show, probably show them this one. Number 5, worst, Feeling Pinky Keen. Okay, I know what this episode was trying to do. It was trying to teach that it's okay to not know or to not fully understand something. By all means, try to understand, try to learn, but if you don't, you gotta learn to be okay with that. When I first saw the episode, that's what I got from it, and it wasn't until I saw other people's reactions that I realized just how poorly worded everything was. Good ideas, just sloppy execution. Number 4, best,
there were some
Suited for
funny parts
Success.
in that,
Alright, it's no secret that Rarity is my favorite of the main 6, and this episode is a great catalyst as to why. After quite a few scenes of Rarity acting greedy in other episodes, we are once again reminded why she is the element of generosity, doing favors and trying to please everyone. Pretty much any artist can relate to her struggle of designing what you think is good versus what people want to see. Also, Tabitha does an amazing job voice acting here. I wish I had half the talent she did. Number 4, worst, Griffin the Brush-Up. Again, another good message that's badly executed. I mean, if you want children to watch out against making friends who might be a bad influence or participates in bad behaviors, try to make them a little more realistic so the kids can see the good warning signs. Gilda just comes off as a tough girl stereotype. How is a kid supposed to connect your behaviors to actual people?
Gilda is a bitch. She is a total bitch. No.
Number 3, best, Sonic Rainbow. I think when Bronies were first starting out, we were all struggling to figure out which character was our favorite, because you had episodes...
Only number 3? I would have expected that to be maybe no lower than number 2. I like how I was gonna say I like how they put Stephen Magnet in there. He's only in one episode, but they did put the Diamond Dogs in there and some of these other characters that were only in one episode for this first season as well. So that does make it's. Never mind. It's just trying. I guess it's just trying to show off all the characters that have had screen time for the first for the first time they were doing Comic-Con, I guess.
episodes where each of them would do something awesome that would make them your number one. Stairmaster made you love Fluttershy, Party of One made you love Pinky, and Sonic Rainbow made you love Rainbow Dash. We got to see Rainbow's confident persona shatter, we got to see a little bit of what made her who she is, and of course, we got to see the Sonic Rainbow. How does something like that manage to sound so silly, yet so awesome? Number 3 worst, Ghostbusters. The characters here showcased alarming hypocrisy. Trixie's just a loudmouth, said Rainbow Dash. Snips and Snails are the first in a long line of bad/pathetic male characters who aren't funny or endearing.
You're 100% right with that hypocrisy thing. I mean, again, what I brought up before about the fanfiction writers doing a better job at writing than the actual show writers. One of the fan authors, Reality Check, who did his own take, well, his own continuation of Nyx's stories from Past Sins, pointed out that hypocrisy in there. And I don't remember if it was exactly in one of his Past Sins versions continuations or if it was in one of his other MLP stories. But he points out the hypocrisy and some of the flaws in writing the show. Like, he points out, why in the heck would you send Twilight Sparkle and her friends, like in the season 3 premiere, when they go to the Crystal Empire? Why would you just send 6 girls there? Not to sound... That's not... Okay, that probably sounded a little sexist. Okay, let me break it down here. Why would you send a farmer, a fashionista, a weather team leader / athlete, a shy, very timid animal caretaker, a librarian, essentially, and a party pony? Why would you send only in one dragon? Why would you send those 7 up against what is considered to be a great evil? Granted, they did not say at the time that evil was there, but dealing with a possible dangerous scenario like that, you'd think you could maybe send a historian who may know something about said empire you're going to, know some of the customs there. It may send a couple of guards to be some form of defense, like, say, what's to happen when you get off the train between when you get into the castle? Who's to know what happened? A few guards and a couple of people who have historical knowledge and such. That's who they should have sent, as well as the main 6 and Spike. He points that out, and it's done very well, I feel, as well as other things. I've been ranting too long. Let's go.
And why is everyone heckling Trixie for showing off? It's like, have you been to any magic shows in your life? That's what they do. It's called presentation. Number 2 best, Cutie Mark Chronicles. Basically, everyone's origin story, and it's great. The show definitely has an overarching theme of destiny, and this episode is a huge part of setting that up. Everyone's origin is interesting and or funny, and seeing them tied together seamlessly really sets the bar high for future episodes. I'm really surprised they managed to cram all of that in there and not have it feel rushed, like other episodes. Just good job. Good job here. Number 2 worst, the Showstoppers. Okay, how did Abridged Kirito say it? A never-ending parade of failures and fuck-ups? That's this episode. I know it's the first season, but the slapstick here really needs some work, and when you repeat bless slapstick over and over, it gets annoying. Like, really annoying. There are some interesting bits, but any good it has is quickly swallowed up by that embarrassing show. It's like, I get it. I get why the concert is cringy. It seemed like they wanted to do a parody of these kinds of shows, but it just ended up being painful. Number 1 best, a dog and pony show. Okay, so in recent years, there's been a huge push for stronger female characters with mixed results. A lot of times they try way too hard to subvert old tropes that they feel less like characters and more like tools. Well, I like to point to this episode as a good example of this concept done correctly. Yes, Rarity does get kidnapped, but in the end, she saves herself, and her personality doesn't get changed for it. She stays completely in character for all of it. It's funny how you're never sure if she's acting or not until the end. People like to bill MLP as a show with a strong female cast and diverse personalities, and this is an episode that proves it. Number 1 worst, Owl's Well That Ends Well. Oh, what a steaming pile this is. The plot happening has to rely on Twilight's inability to properly care for Spike. That's bad. Spike's dialogue is annoyingly juvenile, especially as he constantly narrates his feelings to us. The only mildly funny thing was the owl saying who, but, you know, to this day, I don't think the staff know what to do with Owlicious.
We really don't see Owlicious in many episodes. really don't. I can probably list off all the episodes he's been in throughout the entirety of this generation on both my hands, maybe a foot if I had to go, if I was incorrect, but yeah, no more than a dozen, that's for sure. Actually, no more than 10. I would be right. I would be able to use one hand, two hands for this, just because I can maybe barely make 6 or 7. But other than that, not really. He's not really a big character or anything, so.
Like, I'm pretty sure plenty of Spike episodes could have been immensely better by using him as a foil. Just saying. God.
Well, that was, well, I guess back then he went with a Fiery Scorcher, or not, by Fiery Joker instead, so, well, yeah, so this is what we got to work with for this episode. He does bring up some good points, like Spike. Yes, Spike was. After you've been with someone for as many years as they were, I'm sure if he's like, well, like maybe 15 at that point, I would 12 to 15. I would think Spike would be at this time. I can imagine like Twilight's only just become an adult at the start of the series, and first season in, I would imagine no more. Well, it's they bounce around the seasons so much. Like, if I am not mistaken, bear with me if I am, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that the Fall Weather Friends, the one where they're trying to get the leaves down and it's fall time, comes after the winter wrap-up episode, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you do a fall episode a few episodes after a winter episode? You do the winter episode later. That doesn't make any sense. Well, it could have been worse, I feel, but some of his criticisms did make sense. But anyways, that's gonna have to do it for this video, and I'm gonna upload this tonight. I'm probably gonna react to the other one tomorrow. Get that up there. In the meantime, I'm probably just gonna watch a lot of short videos or stuff that I don't really want to do reactions to. Shut up, Train! Reactions to. So, but in the meantime, this has been Lance Corporal Hawk 30, signing off.